guys! So this is meant to be an intro video to spinning. This is my first video on YouTube that I've really trying to make it a good tutorial video. I'm talking to the camera. I'm not as awkward as I usually am, which isn't saying much because I know I'm going to be really awkward, but it's fine. But I'm going to teach you guys how to spin because this is like probably the most frequently asked question on my stream is like, how do you spin yarn? So I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that I'm able to teach you guys how to spin. So first I'm going to show you guys how to finger spin. This is a roving. This is what I would recommend buying. You can find them almost everywhere. It's basically like a really long kind of like tube floof. It's like almost like a really long yarn, except you can't really use it as yarn because if you pull on it really gently, it just comes right apart. Some people do use this for arm knitting. Certain arm knitting yarns are literally just this stuff, rebranded. But it is called roving or top. And if you look up on the internet, wool top or wool roving, you should be able to find some in your area by just using your country or state or province as a keyword. So now the top it's basically processed wool, and it's the best to start with because you don't have to get into the whole processing. And we're going to start off by finger spinning. So as you see, we can just pull this apart. Comes apart real smooth, real soft, real simple. It's just hairs. It's like if I like chop my hair here and then I like took them and then started like pulling the ends, you know, my fingers would catch the like longest hairs and each end and just come apart, you know. And that's not good. That's not, you can't, that can't do anything, right? So what we do is we take this, we give it, now it comes apart, and now we give it like just a little bit of a twist. And now, you know, it's really hard to take apart. So it can come apart really easily like this, right? But as soon as I give it a twist, then I can pull and pull and really give her, and it won't be coming apart because that twist really increases the friction between strands of wool, and you just can't get it apart, you know. So now that we understand the principle of twisty is strong, untwisty is not strong, how do we get it to stay twisty? What we do, it's called plying. So as you saw there, and I'll do it again, if I twist this up like this, then let it go, it untwists. You know, it's not going to stay that way. The way that we deal with it, I'm just going to be stretching this out a little. And so this is called drafting, I should say. So I want this to be longer, right? So I just really gently pull at the end, and we'll get more into that later. But now I can twist it up. And again, while it's twisted, it's super strong, but when I let go of it, well, then it just comes apart again. I'm gonna twist it up, and then, so we've got this, it's strong, and I'm gonna fold, put the ends together, right? Fold it in half. And now if I let go of it here, it twists itself up. So it untwists itself, but because there's now two strands parallel instead of one strand, it hasn't really untwisted. and I can pull at it and it's still strong. And so that's the basic principle of plying. All right, so now that we understand how twist works and how plying works, we want to apply it. Apply, get it? A pen, just a normal writing implement pen. And I'm going to start off, just gonna draft out a little bit. You know, I want to make it thinner because that was really chunky. You saw how easily I untwisted it. So we don't want that. So I'm going to draft out a bit. I don't need a pen right now. I'm going to just take my hand and I'm going to pinch. And I'm going to make sure I'm always spinning the same direction. Right? Up until it kind of gets thicker. This is the part that I didn't draft here. So kind of spin it like that, right? And now I'm going to take my pen. I'm just going to simply wrap it around the pen. All right. And now I'm going to take my pen in my non-dominant hand and I'm going to draft out some more, twist it in the same direction I twisted it before. You see how this is just kind of spinning freely? So twist it. I'm going to wrap it around the pen. I'm going to draft out a little more. Twist it. Just until it's like the thickness that I want it to be, right? Twist it. And then wrap it around the pen. Draft it out. Twist it. Wrap it around the pen. Just like this. And you can, of course, get pretty fast at it. And when you're twisting, do make sure, if you twist it a little bit, it's still going to slide apart. So make sure you twist it enough that when you pull on it, it doesn't slide apart. You don't have to twist it much more than that, as long as it just doesn't slide apart when you give it a little tug. So I'm going to draft. I'm going to pinch. And I'm going to twist. And I'm going to do that for the rest of this. So, so now that I've gotten a bit of a way, let's say I accidentally, while I'm, twisting and drafting, I accidentally draft too hard. It completely disconnects my fiber supply. Or let's say, there's like a thin spot in the yarn and it snaps. Or, maybe I just ran out of the fiber that was in my hand. Like, what do? How do I reattach it? First thing I do is I look and I'm like, this bit's a bit thinner, this bit's a bit thicker. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to let go of it so that it untwists over here on the end. And then I'm going to actually even twist it the opposite direction so that now there's like 0 twist left in here. There is no twist left in here. Then I'm just going to gently pull it apart, and it should slide apart, right? It shouldn't snap. It should slide apart as if, because there's not enough twist to hold it together. And that piece is garbage. It's just a tiny bit. It's not worth the effort of saving. And so what I have now is this floofy bit right here, and I can even pull that apart a bit more to be a bit more fluffy. And now, if you've run out, you want to just pull off another chunk from your fiber supply. Or if you have a chunk that's already off, you can use that. And all you want to do is take the floofy bit from the yarn you've already spun. And as you can see, I've been pinching it here the whole time. And that's just so that the yarn that's wrapped around the pen doesn't untwist. I'm going to just kind of fluff this end out, put them together, and then start twisting right at the part where they overlap, right here. Twist there, you know, pinch, draft, twist. And now it's a solid piece of yarn again. Now, if one thing I'll say is sometimes the fibers don't completely interlace. So sometimes they do slide apart. Just try it again. Try making them more fluffy, like try really floofing them apart on the ends that are touching. But if you've done it right and with a little bit of luck, you can just keep on spinning as if there's nothing there. As if nothing broke, as if nothing happened. So I'm going to end it. So I'm just going to disconnect the rest of it. This one's fluffy. I'm just going to give it a nice twist up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this into about 2 equal balls of yarn. Now that's not very much because I have like a tiny amount, but I'm going to just approximate, you know, 2 balls of yarn. So I'll say that's one, just about that, yeah. Break it, and then wrap the other. If you have more wool, you can use a scale to measure it, or you can take the original top that you started with and just break it into equal halves. Either way, it's going to be approximate. You're going to have a little bit extra, but it's not terrible. So now I have my 2 little balls of yarn, or they might be big depending how many singles you spun. I certainly recommend starting off with a small quantity at first, just to get the hang of it so you know what you're dealing with. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the ends of both balls of yarn and we're going to put them parallel. So ends, just put them together like that, right? So that they're just kind of parallel, right? And we're going to smooth them down. What we're going to do is whichever way we were twisting our yarn, we want to twist these together in the opposite direction, right? And they'll actually want to twist themselves. If I just let go of it, it's going to twist itself like that, right? Just like how it did with the shorter one. And now that's done. It hangs very straight, and that's great. And now what we can do is we can wrap this around the pen. Because you might have this attached to balls of yarn, you're not going to really want to twist it like how we were when we were spinning the singles, because if you do that, you're just going to get the twist, and those balls of yarn that are probably on your table or on your floor aren't going to like untwist in the same way that like just something that's being supported by gravity is. So for this, when we're playing, we actually want to spin the pen. And you do want to make sure you're spinning it in the right direction, which I'm not. We're actually going to twist the pen just like this. You do want to make sure you're twisting it in the right direction. And you want to twist the pen until it doesn't do that. See how when I let go of it, it twists right up. That's no good. Okay, I'm going to twist the pen a little more. Oh no. Okay, that's still twisting, but it seems to relax a little more. All right, let's see what I know. And so I'm not letting anything unravel from the pen, and I'm not twisting anything onto the pen. I'm just twisting what's in between my hands. How about now? That's barely anything. You can see it just twists very slightly. I'd call that done, but you know what? I'm going to twist it maybe a couple more rotations. There we go. Now this hangs straight. It's not twisting up, and that's exactly what you want. And now I can wrap this around the pen because that is a balanced yarn that is properly plied. All right, time to let more out. Oh, and there's the ends. So just make sure I'm pinching right at the end, or like an inch or two above it. Twist this, and as you can see, it kinks and tangles up really fast right now because I barely twisted it at all. And if that gets worse, then you know you're twisting the wrong direction. So I'm going to check it again. And it's twisting up a little. It's still twisting up for sure, but it's got less energy. It's got less springiness. Oh no! So now I'm going to keep going. And again, it's twisting, but now it's just forming one twist, and honestly it's seeming a little lazy as far as twisting goes. Let's try that again. Still twists, but very, very slowly. How about now? Tiny little bit. And there we go. I mean, that still does like a quarter twist, maybe. That's nothing. I don't care about that. So now one end is a little longer than the other end, also tangled. There we go. One end is longer. There is a way to kind of salvage that, but it's probably not worth it. It's probably not a huge amount, and you can definitely look up other tutorials if you are curious on how to do that or figure it out yourself. But yeah, I'm just gonna cut it to the same length as the other ply, and then we're done. And now you can do the same thing, just around your hands really loosely. I'm stirring it with my thumb, and I'm just wrapping it around. You can see my fingers are apart, I'm wrapping it very loosely. I have one end here, I have one end here, and all you really want to do, you can take the same yarn, that's why I use the same yarn. You can take one end and wrap it around, right? And I'm holding it out with my hand, and you just want to tie a knot like that. And you have this little donut. And then you can watch just like this, and when you store it, it looks really nice and cute and professional. You can just twist it out, just like you're twisting the yarn. Make sure you keep one end open with the finger, and put this in through the open end, like that. And you got this tiny cute little. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. I hope it was clear. I hope you guys were able to learn something, hopefully learning to spin. So then I can have more friends that know how to spin and want to talk about spinning with me. That's the goal. Gotta convert everyone into spinsters. And I don't really have any plans for a next video. But if anyone has any suggestions, anything you'd like me to demonstrate, to do a video on, I'm absolutely open to suggestions. This has been fun. And I hope to see you again, either here on YouTube or on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/woolydevdev. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.